Hello. Today we'll be discussing web scraping, and it is one of the easiest form to collect the live data as we see it. Uh, फिलहाल ਆਪਾਂ यूज ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਫॉर एग्जांपल CSV फाइल्स ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ APIs ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਡੇਟਾ ਜੋ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਵਰਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਟ ਵੈਬ ਸਕ੍ਰੈਪਿੰਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡਸ ਯੂ ਵੇ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਡੇਟਾ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸੈਮੀ ਸਟਰਕਚਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਅਨਸਟਰਕਚਰਡ ਫਾਰਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਧਰੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਟਰੈਕਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਟਰਕਚਰਡ ਫਾਰਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਾਰਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਯੂਜ਼ ਇਟ in your projects. So that is what is the meaning of web scraping. Web scraping is the process of extracting the data from the websites automatically. Whatever HTML, etc., CSS it is used to make a website will be directly assessing the data from that websites and assessing the HTML of the web page and extracting the useful information. This is only known as web scraping or web harvesting. So basically, we'll not just only dive into theory part, but we'll also cover that how it is actually working. We'll take a example of a website, we'll work upon it, and we'll just know that how it is working. So here we'll be covering the basic two libraries, that is one is requests and another is beautiful soup. We'll be using beautiful soup. We have other libraries, for example, Scrappy or some other some other libraries also, but we'll be using beautiful soup here. So if we explain the working that how web scraping works, so initially it starts with the website load, and this is done with the help of the request module. Here what we are doing is that we are requesting and receiving the content, means we are requesting the server to connect to us, and we'll be getting a response from the server, and that will be in a kind of a specific web page from the web server. Once we have from the website load, we have the raw HTML. We'll be having just the raw HTML. We have to convert it into some useful content, some tree-like structure. For that, you will be having parsing. We have just the raw HTML. To convert it, or we say the to prettify it, we will be using parsing. With the help of parsing, we'll be having a structure that will be known as HTML tree traverse, HTML tree. And for that HTML tree structure, we'll have some traversals like navigation and extraction of the data. And after we have done it, extracting is done, means we have extracted the titles, the paragraphs, etc. So after extraction, we'll be transforming the data. That are the basic steps like cleaning the data, etc. Our main point is that loading that data into our system. Then you have to parse it. Parse it means that you have to prettify it, and then you have to navigate through it to extract some data. So this is the main thing that how we'll be having web scraping. And there are various requirements where we need to go with the scrapping, because the live data projects that we are making, they are the company requirements that we have to go with the live data, because the CSV data or the file data, they are already structured. So here this is a task of a good programmer, that you are just, it's not only using the predefined data, but you're extracting it, then you are using the data. So that is what accounts in web scraping. It means that up to date data and live data will be having a chance to work upon that data, and we'll be getting that how from that HTMLs we'll be extracting that HTML contents into our website, and then you can uh, store it in any file, and then you can use it. So this will be the live data. For example, the 6 months old data, or you want the data that is daily available to you. So for that, we'll be using web scraping. So moving to, I think that theory is clear, that this is what is the version, but it will be more clear when we'll have it on our system. So first of all, we require some modules, some libraries. We first of all need the requests module. I have it in my system, so the requirement will be already satisfied. But you can install the requests module. What will the request module do? It will just request the content of the specific web page from a web server, and the server will respond to you in the form of the status code. When we'll program it, we'll come to know that what we are talking. And another important thing in here that we'll be using is that we require a library that is known as Beautiful Soup. Okay, so I think if I'm not wrong, it is Beautiful Soup 4. So in my system, these both requirements are already satisfied. If you don't have this, you just have to install both of these libraries, because our major work will be done with the help of only these two libraries, and you will be surprised to see that in just a few lines of code, the data from any website can be on your system. So this is the one thing that you have just in pip installed the modules that you required. I'll be using Google Colab. So the most important thing is that you'll be importing the request module, and from BS4 we'll be importing Beautiful Soup. The whole syntax, etc., whatever we will require, and these will be the basic steps that will be covered in every scraping tutorial. So these are the basic syntaxes that you'll come to know that what I'll be preferring it over. So first of all, this is clear. So by starting, I said that the first part was that you have to load the website data. So for that, we'll be having some variable. Let's say our variable name is web. Web, we'll be using the requests module. We'll be having the get function. And here you will be having the URL of the website that you want to scrape. We'll choose an easy one. So let's say we have this website, tutorials point. Okay, this is the website. Just you have what you have to do is that you have to copy the URL, and just 1 minute, and you'll be just pasting the URL. Okay, this is the first and the foremost thing you have to do in your system, and then you have to, let's see, you have to print this variable. Now we are getting the response 200. It means that the server has responded to us. It means that we can have the data from that website. If there will be some other codes from, for example, response 300 or 500, that means that the server is busy or something. But if you are having response 200, it means that the other website is okay to connect with us. So this is the first thing that you have to do, and this is the basic thing that you have to do in every project. Any means you have to scrape the data from any website. This is the first thing that you have to do. And you are having various, for example, if you want to check that what is the URL. Okay, we have it already, so you can have it. Or for example, this is the same thing that if you want to check the status code. Okay, so let's see. So this is the URL of the website that we want to scrape, and this is the status code. It means that we are all done to start. So let's start it. First of all, you'll be having an object soup. We'll be making it from the class Beautiful Soup. Okay. Okay, I think that I have missed something. First of all, this is the printing of web URL, printing of this. But what if we want the whole content? So for that we have web.content. Now just see. This is the whole content that you'll be able to see. Wait just 1 minute. Okay, I don't know why it is like this. I just want it in my yeah, like it is here. This object. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry for the interruption, but I have switched to VS Code because I was not able to show the full screen there. So I was talking about, for example, if you want to see the whole content, okay, of the website, so you'll be just printing web.content. And now, as I think that you'll be able to see the full screen, that you have whole code in here. So this is how you're able to see the whole code. You're just what you're doing it from the help of request module. You are using the get function and you are putting the URL. If you'll be writing that variable name dot content, you'll be getting the whole data from the website. Now we can start. For example, now here we'll be using the beautiful soup because the first step is completed. We have loaded the data. Now, second thing starts with the parsing. Beautiful Soup is a library that is known for parsing. So, for example, the common abbreviation we use here is, or we can use any other variable name. For example, we'll be using soup. With the help of Beautiful Soup class, what we'll be having here is the whole content we want to see, for example, and you'll be using the default parser, HTML.parser. This will be helping you to parse the content. Okay, this is the main thing here. But now this is the variable we have created. Now we'll be what doing is that we'll be using the prettify function. Now you just see the difference. This is the raw HTML that we have got, but now with the help of parser, HTML.parser, we have it in an organized form. We have prettify it. We have made it in a tree-like structure. So that is what is the main use of beautiful soup. That is, we have made an object soup and we have just used the prettify function and now it is much more visible and it is just not the raw file that you are getting, but you are getting a good file. And with the help of this soup object, now you will be seeing that what magic it can bring. For example, you have just created the soup. Now you can have it to get the title. Okay. For example, you want to see that what is the title of the website. So you can use it dot title. So it says tutorials on technical and non-technical subjects. So with the help of this soup object, you can do we can do numerous things. For example, we can get the title. And what other things that we can do with this? For example, you want to get soup dot title dot name. You want to get the name of the title. So for that, it is title. So you'll be getting the name of the title. That's title only. Okay. Now, for example, you have to print the paragraph. P stands for paragraphs. So print soup dot p. So here we get p class equals to hero slider number. So these are the numerous things that we can do with it. For example, print soup dot anchor tag. A stands for the anchor tag. You'll be getting an anchor tag. This is the anchor tag. Okay, the first anchor tag. So these all are the things. Similarly, you can use it for any heading or anything that you see. For example, you just have to see that what all things you want to get it, and you can do it by using soup dot and whatever you want to have, whether it be list, whether it be anchor tag, whether it be um, title, and so on. So these all are the just simple things. For example, we want to get heading 1. Okay, so it is saying that you don't have any heading in that website, so you'll not be getting any heading. Okay. Now, if we talk about that, what are the kind of objects of beautiful soup? It has many objects. For example, it has tag, it has navigable string, comments, etc. So how we'll be using them? Okay, for example, you want to have the data, but you want to have the data from the class. So let's start with the class data. So these are the simple things that if you want to have the paragraph, you have to get the anchor. So you'll be using this simple syntax. But now we want to achieve that data, but by using the class. So this says class data. Now how to see this? For example, we have a variable class data equals to the same object soup dot. For example, you'll be having a find function. You want to have the class data. Now let's look at this. So here we can see one div. It will take just 1 2 minutes. Just wait for it. Yeah, we can see it. For example, you want you want to access the class data. So we'll be having class data equals to soup dot find. You want to have it the class data, for example, by sorry, with the help of div. Okay, so just look at the syntax once. Then you'll be writing, this will be the same syntax, class underscore equal to the name of the class. You will be having access to whole data and then you will be printing the class data. For example, you need a specific class data. So for that, we have this syntax because till now we were just having the title, the paragraph, anchors. But what if you want to have the whole class data? So that will be the variable name, for example, class data equals to the object soup dot find. You have to find it by div. Just note it if you don't want to find it by div, okay, you can have it with the help of an ID. For example, you have to find in div and the class is the class name. Or you can also do it find in div and rather than class if you want to have for an ID. So you can have that also. But here we are using the class data. So we'll be writing the class name. So I think, wait, just for 1 minute. We have to print it that we are starting with the class data. So we'll get to know that what we are doing. So this is the whole class data. As you can see, this is the main thing that when something wonderful, no worries. Yes. So this is the whole class data. For example, you wanted to have the sent header, you are getting that. For example, now let's say you want to have the div class this. So you'll be just repeating your process writing class data 2, for example, just for a trial purpose. You'll be writing it class data 1 equals to, if you want to find, sorry, if you want to find, if you want to find in div, okay, and class underscore equals to the class name. This was our class name. And then you will be printing the variable name that you have stored it. For example, it says class data 2, if I'm not wrong. Sorry, it's class data 1. So with the help of this, I mean that just by changing the class name, you can get the whole class data on your system. This is the class data 2, and here we are getting its sent nav content and the same that we wanted our system to display. Rather than the find function, we can also use find all function. For example, class data, we have to find, okay, we'll be using the find all function. So, for example, you have to find all the anchor tags in here. So, all the anchor tags in the class data you have to find. So, for that, all the anchor tags will be in here. So this is an important step because in many projects you'll be needing that you want to have the references. So from the class data that you have made, for example, this was the class data. So that class data dot find all, you can have all the anchor tags. Similarly, you want to have class data one dot find all, but I want to now find all the headings. I think if there will be any headings. Okay, we don't think there are any headings. Let's go with the list. So, with the help of this, we are able to find all the lists on our system. Like in this class, we require all the lists. So, this is the syntax that we'll be having. So, this is how you can access the whole class data. Rather than using here class, you can also use ID also here. Let's see if we get to have any ID. So I think that it will be your task. Just to what you have to do is, I'll write it once. That instead of class, you just here you have to mention the ID and the ID name, and you'll be getting all the content from the specific ID. Now you are able to get the content from a specific class, but if you mention here the ID, you will be able to get whole content of ID. So this was all about class and ID data. So to revise, or we can say that what we have done till, first of all, we have used the request module. We have just loaded the website into our system. We have checked the status code that whether the server is okay to connect with us, and then with web.content we can have whole content, or we can say the whole HTML data on our system. Now to beautify it or to prettify it, we are having the beautiful soup library that has an inbuilt parser, that is HTML.parser. With the help of this, you got to know that you can use it variously, like for example soup.h1 for heading, for anchor tags, p for paragraph, list, etc. So this was an individual type of thing. But what about you want to have in bulk? For example, from class point of view, we'll be having a variable name, for example, class data. With the help of soup, you are using either find or the find all function. You're finding the div there. Div here means we know. I hope that basic HTML you all know. So from the div, we are having class that is equal to the class name that you want to find. And for example, this is our variable name. From this variable name, for example, you want to find all the headings, all the anchor tags, all the lists, so you can perform it in the similar way. Now, if you remember, I just thought that there are certain kind of objects, and I think that this is the last topic because it is kind of easy. Just you have to get that it just depends that what type of data you want to extract, whether it is present in the title, whether it is present in. So you just have to do, for example, you want to extract the titles. Okay. Or you want to extract the headings. For let's say we want to extract the headings of the specific class. So what you will be doing is you'll be making a variable name dot find all and the heading, that is H1, H2, whatever heading you want to find out. Now talking about the objects. This is done by like objects can be like tag, it can be navigable strings. So here we will be focusing on mainly tags. So if we talk about objects, so for example, we have a variable name. For example, if we will be talking about tags, so it's convenient to use the variable name also as tag only. Now, you can see what magic it is bringing. For example, the soup object only with the help of soup object and the find function. Okay. No, not the find function. For example, soup.html. Okay. And then you have to print the tag. Now see what is it is doing. To make it more clear, let's go with the HTML data. Okay. What I want to show is that when you'll be writing soup.html, from wherever the HTML will begin, it will be providing you the whole HTML thing. Like I'll show you to make it a difference. I think it is, yeah, like from wherever HTML is starting, it will be providing you with tag tags. Now, with the help of tags only, you can do various things. For example, tag equals to, okay, you want to get soup.h1 and then you are printing the tag. So this you are doing it for h1. Now you'll see the difference. From okay, because we don't have h1, so it is showing like this. Okay, but I think it is having list. Yeah, so from wherever in our code list will be starting, it will be providing you the whole data from that. From wherever it will see the tag that is li, it will start giving you that data. For example, if you write it here, soup.h1, it will be providing you with all the headings because it will just find out the tag. For example, it has finded out the li tag because we sent him to provide us with all the list tags. And with this, we can have all the lists, or we can say all the HTML content. And if we say that if we want to have the body, so if you want to get the whole body of that, so we'll be saying, for example, that the body of HTML is that is the same thing. With the help of tags, you can do various things like soup dot body, and it will be providing you the content of the whole body. So this is the content of the whole body. So we'll be getting it. It means you just need to make an object that is the soup, and with that you just have to keep on applying the attributes, and you will be having everything you need. Whether it will be in bulk, like for example from the class or the ID perspective, or for example with the help of tags also. Because the basic HTML, I think CSS everyone knows. So with the help of there are certain tags like list, you can have the headings, the body, the anchor tags. So just with the help of tags also, you can extract as much of the data you need. Now, for example, you have to prettify it also, and you are getting. So it will be just prettifying it. That's the main use of using the beautiful soup. You're not just only extracting the body, but you're also beautifying, or you can say prettifying it. So this is the main use of objects, and here we have discussed tags. For example, that with the help of tags, you can extract whatever data you want to extract. Okay. So I think that this will be enough to understand the scraping. It will be enough for you to understand that how we can bring or how we can extract the data from HTML. You can use tags, you can use the class, okay, or you can use just simply, like if you want to extract the title, you have to extract the paragraphs. So these all are just simple things. So I think we'll be clear with this. So this is all about it. I hope that it was okay. Thank you.